Hi guys, welcome back to Bree. So today we're going to talk about fasting and dopamine and all those little neurotransmitters and hormones and how they are actually very important when fasting. So a lot of you guys are, New Year, 40 days of prayer. A lot of people are doing Daniel's fast at the beginning of the year. So it's really common for a lot of churches, congregations to come together and do a fast. And it's like, what is the purpose of a fast? Like, is it important since we kind of like crossed over into the New Testament? Not to say we did away with the old, but do we really have to fast? Do we need it? What's the point? What does it do? So I remember asking this question to quite a few pastors, and the answer I got was very similar. Fasting puts your flesh or your body under subjection. Sometimes pastors that I've heard on YouTube, they kind of like you basically fast to get something that you want. Things are not going right in your life. You go on a fast. You can fast for somebody else. If this person isn't cooperating, isn't doing what you want them to do, that relationship, that boyfriend, out here talking to other girls, just go on a fast. It'll cure it, right? That's kind of the gist of fasting. So we thought. So let's go back to what I heard fasting is. And so, what I've always been taught is that fasting puts your flesh under subjection. Doesn't sound very fun. It sounds like I'm about to make you do something you don't want to do. I'm going to weaken the flesh. And you do. You go on a fast. You can barely move. You're hungry. You're angry. All kind of things are happening. What's really going on? So if we look up putting the body under subjection, what that means is basically trying to white knuckle willpower. It'll fail long term because willpower is finite. It is stress, fatigue, hunger, emotion. Willpower collapses. So that's maybe will work short term. Like if you are trying to go to a photo shoot and you need to lose some water weight, you can pretty much make your body go without food for 5 days. But eventually, the stress and fatigue, it will wear willpower down. You cannot beat willpower. You cannot control willpower, and you cannot ask for more willpower. I challenge you to find a scripture where you can ask for more willpower. You're not getting it. That is not how it works. Willpower isn't a substance that you can have more or less of. Either you have it or you don't. And everybody has it if you're alive. It's just there. So don't fight it. Work with it. Second, so let's see. Let me introduce you to my friend called Dopamine. I'm pretty sure y'all have heard it. Everybody is addicted to dopamine. So when you hear that, when you hear everybody's addicted to dopamine, video games, porn, sugar, all of these are dopamine hits, right? And so people think that you can fast to get rid of your dopamine. No, you need dopamine. Dopamine is actually your friend. Your body is actually your friend. If you work with it, if you understand it, that's why the Bible always says seek understanding in everything that you do. You're not in a constant battle that you will lose. It will wear you out. If you're trying to fight against temptations and you're running from them, it's going to wear you out. It's going to find you. You're going to fall for it. That's why you have so much adultery, fornication, obesity, you name it. You can't fight it. You can't run from it. You can't pray it away. your body doesn't know what it's doing. You can't beat your body up either and be mad because your body keeps eating Krispy Kreme donuts. It doesn't know any better. That's where willpower comes in. That's where dopamine comes in. And honestly, you are to blame for your mistakes. Sort of. So let's talk about dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's a chemical in the brain. You need it. It is actually a good thing. So don't try to be like, oh, I don't want to run off dopamine. Dopamine, it's more important to know where dopamine is going. That is the key. Where are you releasing your dopamine? So when you fast, you can reset your dopamine back to baseline. On a regular day, you wake up perfectly, feeling good in the morning. You're at about 50 deciliters. Don't quote me on that, but you're around there. So, amazing day. You just won the lottery. You just met the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams. You just got a brand new house. You're going on this lavish vacation. That's like 100 deciliters. And it's like per deciliter, something like that. That is on the best day ever. So when you have an addiction, which most of us have, it doesn't have to be a drug addiction to have an addiction. It could be video games. It could be porn. It could be food. It could be scrolling. When you have an addiction and you're noticing your sleep is off, you can barely get out of bed in the morning, you're just not functioning at full. Please excuse these little emoji things. They're gonna happen until I can get my brother to tell me how to turn them off. So, yay. I think I can do this or something. I don't know. They keep going off. So, and I don't know how to turn it off. But yeah, back to it. So, when you have an addiction, once the thing becomes an addiction, that can actually cause you to release less dopamine. So, you could be releasing like 20 deciliters and you need 50 just to get out of bed. So you do need dopamine to survive, but it matters of where it goes. Majority of people's dopamine is going to a place called the nucleus accumbens, which is like kind of part of the limbic system. That probably sounds really crazy. So we're just going to say in the middle of your brain, underneath all of this part, right? Deep in the middle. That is where you're releasing dopamine. You don't want that to be the main source of where you release dopamine because that is instant gratification. I need pleasure and I need it now. I have to have sugar now. I have to have it now. We see this a lot in children. I want it and I want it now. I want this toy. I want it now. I want this piece of candy. I'm going to fall and pitch a fit in the grocery store because I got to have it right now. That's okay for children because their prefrontal cortex, this part of your brain, this is where you make decisions. This is where your morals are. That's not fully developed in children, but it is supposed to be fully developed for you adults. That is where you want to release your dopamine. You release your dopamine there when you delay gratification. When you want to give somebody a blessing and you don't want anything in return. When you truly don't want anything in return, you're delaying gratification. When you work for what you get, you earn it. That is delayed gratification. That is releasing dopamine and the more responsible part of the brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. This part right here. That is where you want your dopamine to go. So when you see scriptures in the Bible, like when Jesus said, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, when they would go out and they would fast and they would cover themselves in ashes and they wanted everybody to know, he said, they've already received their reward. Yes, because they're releasing dopamine in the nucleus accumbens, in the middle part of the brain, because they're getting instant gratification. And so You want to keep delaying gratification in everything that you do. Do not seek a reward, because when you do get a reward, you feel like I earned this reward, and you release dopamine in a healthier part of the brain. So back to fasting. When you fast, you can actually reset your dopamine levels back. So if you have that game addiction, if you know the addiction that you have, if you know that I'm addicted to scrolling, or I'm addicted to video games, or I'm addicted to porn, then you actually can fast that specific habit. If you want to do a fast around 30 days, and then if it's not like a necessarily like a bad habit, like maybe scrolling, you want to limit, you want to pay attention. You want to say like, I'm going to scroll. I'm only going to get on social media for like 10 minutes a day. Or I'm going to watch a YouTube video for like an hour and then I'm going to get off. Or I'm going to play video games, but I'm only going to play an hour a day and I'm not going to play so close to bedtime. Like, you want to control it. When you do not know the habit, when you know that you are not functioning properly, something is off, you're just all over the place, you can't get work done, you don't want to do this, you're tired all the time, go on a food fast. Because when you fast, it is like turning the light on in the brain and you're like, oh, that's what I've been doing. So I encourage you, when you fast, to write down everything that you want to do and put the time. I want to scroll. I want to get on my phone. I want to eat this donut. 10:45, 10:46. I want to eat this donut. 11 o'clock. Still want to eat this donut. 11:15. I want to scroll. 11:30. I still want to scroll. Then you can see, oh, here is my unhealthy habits. So your prefrontal cortex, this part of the brain, this is what is supposed to be in control. This is like the parent of the brain. The limbic system that's in the middle of the brain, that's like your children. That is having chaos, and it's like in the dark, right? So say you clean up your house, you turn the lights off, you turn them back on, and you're like, what happened to my house? That is what happens when you fast. You turn the light on and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Because you can actually see it. So fasting isn't the answer. It isn't the solution. It just brings light to what I've been doing. And then it's up to you to change those behaviors, because fasting will reset your dopamine levels back to baseline. And it's up to you to kind of reintroduce a new system. Hey, we're gonna put some boundaries in my life. We're gonna create some rules. We're not gonna do this anymore. So you don't have it constantly nagging at you. That's the beauty of fasting. So, like I said, the limbic system is like your little children in your brain that is just doing whatever they want to do because they don't know any better. Because they get their information from your eyesight, from your smell, from your ears, and all these things can cause, like, you can actually smell a sweat from someone who is fearful, and it can actually trigger you to become angry. But you cannot recognize the smell. If I tell you to smell this person's fear, sweat, and this person's sweat from the gym, you would not be able to really tell the difference. You couldn't tell me this person was scared and this person just went to the gym. But your amygdala, another part of your brain, it surely knows. So we are being triggered all day from our senses. That is playing a part in our life. That's why you have to pay attention to our environment. You can't pick up the smell, might not know that it's affecting you, but you know that this environment is affecting me and I shouldn't be in this area, because every time I go out with these friends, I end up in jail. Something stupid like that. So your limbic system, it's not the enemy. It's just like children, just like your children. They don't know any better. You don't hate them. You don't get rid of them. You train them in the right way. You teach your limbic system what we're going to do. And that is fasting in a nutshell. So if you have any questions, drop a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want me to keep making videos. And I hope that you actually gain something out of this video. Till next time, welcome to Breathe. or see you later.